According to the new U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, Iran may be just a matter of weeks away from accumulating enough fissile material to build its first nuclear warhead. The assessment comes after it's recognized that Iran removed limits on uranium enrichment at its nuclear facilities. Iran took steps to increase uranium enrichment in response to the U.S. withdrawal from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA) nuclear deal and the imposition of strong economic sanctions on Tehran. Iranian officials have repeatedly threatened to withdraw from the NPT, or Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, if America didn't relax the economic pressure. NPT is currently the only legal restriction on its development of nuclear weapons. Iran notably has ballistic missiles like Musudan and Shahab-3, which could deliver nuclear warheads to pretty long ranges. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer All Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. Chinese government vessels entered Japanese territorial waters near Senkaku Islands, the first time since China passed a new law earlier this month that allows its coast guards to use military force in waters the country claims, including those around the Senkakus. 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels entered the waters around the Japanese-administered Senkakus, which Beijing claims and calls the Diaoyu, and approached Japanese fishing boats operating in the area, the Japan Coast Guard said in a statement. The Japan Coast Guard further added that it had sent vessels to the area to protect the fishing ships while repeatedly urging the Chinese ships to leave the area. The Chinese government ships left the territorial waters after this. China's new Coast Guard law has aroused concern in Japan, and some of its leaders are urging for increase in military exercises with the U.S. military near the Senkakus. The United States has reacted sharply to the military's actions after the seizure in power in Myanmar by the country's armed forces on February 1st. Myanmar's President Win Myint and State Councilor Aung San Suu Kyi were detained alongside several members of parliament, ministers, and deputy ministers. The U.S. has threatened intervention with economic sanctions to restore what is perceived to be the country's legitimate government. The Pentagon implied that a military response could be considered in the future, with spokesman John Kirby stating on the 2nd of February, "I don't believe we foresee right now, with what's going on there, a U.S. military solution or action required. We certainly have viewed with great alarm what has happened in Burma, Myanmar, but I don't see a U.S. military role right now." It's important to note that the U.S. has previously sanctioned multiple members of its military leadership for conducting policy in a way that contravened American and Western interests in the country. The Indian Navy has received 3 made-in-India Mark III Advanced Light Helicopter (ALH) customized for coastal security from the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Out of the 16 Mark III helicopters, HAL delivered 3 to Indian Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh at Aero India. The helicopters are fully loaded, multi-mission, and are fitted with an array of advanced sensors. The helicopter features a full glass cockpit with HAL's Integrated Architecture Display System (AIDS) and is powered by Safran Ardiden 1H1 engines. The Mark III ALH is equipped with indigenous low-frequency dunking sonar (LFDS), as well as a nose-mounted surveillance radar with 270-degree coverage that can detect, classify, and track multiple marine targets. It also has synthetic aperture radar, inverse synthetic aperture radar, and moving target indication classification functions. The Chinese Ministry of Defense reported on February 4th that the country had carried out a successful mid-course interception of a simulated intermediate-range ballistic missile. The officials claimed it was purely defensive and was not meant as a signal to any country in particular. The launch was carried out from the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center in Shaanxi Province, which plays a key role in testing new weapons for the People's Liberation Army rocket force. Intermediate-range ground-based missiles are already deployed by neighboring India and are also expected to be deployed by the United States military to East Asia in the coming days, following Washington's withdrawal from the INF Treaty, which has prohibited it from deploying such weapons. China has been looking to develop an early warning capability with Russian assistance against possible Western ballistic missile strikes. The Lebanese militia Hezbollah has reportedly claimed that 3 Israeli military drones were shot down over a 3-day period, at least one of which fell over southern Lebanon in the Blida area. The shootdowns come amid rising tensions between Israel and Iran. Viewers may note that Iran is Hezbollah's primary material sponsor and close strategic partner. The Iranian leadership is considering passing legislation that would allow Tehran to formalize a mutual defense agreement with Hezbollah. This comes after the Israeli Defense Force has indicated that it's planning to take military actions against Iran. Hezbollah has already assumed to take action in the event of an Israeli attack on its ally. The U.S. Navy is reportedly considering the feasibility of a new class of aircraft carrier derived from the Gerald Ford-class supercarriers currently under construction. It's expected to be significantly lighter and cheaper, both to construct and operate, and would require less crew. The Gerald Ford-class supercarriers are currently the most expensive warships in the world. The first of the class, the USS Gerald Ford, is costing over $13 billion to commission, excluding the multi-billion-dollar cost of its air wing and billions of dollars worth of operational costs over several decades. As of now, it's unclear if a lighter carrier will be able to operate aircraft built for standard carrier landings, such as the F-35C, F-18E, and E-2 Hawkeye, or whether it will rely on F-35B fighters, which are capable of vertical landings. It's also possible that the U.S. Navy's new, lighter carrier would use a conventional rather than a nuclear propulsion system, similar to Britain's Queen Elizabeth-class carriers. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comments section. This will help us improve.